Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gonzii and today Ninjas Are Butterflies, one of my favorite podcasts, and it's about Gilgamesh. But before we start doing it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like the video already. I'm sorry that I'm talking a bit lower today. It's just because last night, like I said in the previous video, was recording, neighbors got upset and I just don't want to repeat that. And so yeah, without further ado, let's get this thing, man.
Speaking of Gossip Girls,
Tell me about it.
you ready for this?
Please.
So we've talked a lot about giants and the fallen
do talk
angels,
a
the
lot about
watchers,
giants.
and how there's been so much within history of the Greeks and the Sumerians
There's a lot of
and
stuff on
all these
giants.
cultures having these
of stuff.
demigods, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people have speculated that these demigods were in fact real, but they were actually the Nephilim race or the watchers
Makes sense.
themselves. Have you ever heard of the story, the Epic of Gilgamesh?
Yep.
Yeah, it's familiar.
Very familiar name, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know a lot about it.
He
I've
was
heard
a
the name
jerk,
before.
you know,
I started looking into that.
Tyrant, bro.
So Gilgamesh is, the story was written in the 2000 BC, and it was discovered not very long ago. Like I think it was the late 1800s, early 1900s, but that's where they found like the Sumerians, the
Yeah.
like the
text.
Sanskrit and stuff, and they're saying like this is the oldest civilization. But Gilgamesh, the story was about this king named Gilgamesh, who was the king of Uruk,
Okay.
and that was like the first city in Sumer, which is Sumerian, right? Mesopotamia, and that whole region, that's like where the Tower of Babel and stuff were built. But this Gilgamesh guy, the story talks about how he was 2/3 God and 1/3 man. And the claim was that he was 17 feet tall,
Oh man.
and he was this brutal king, like just mean, like a tyrant.
Yeah.
And the god Anuk sent this other man, that they created this other man that matched Gilgamesh in every way, and his name was Enkidu. And the description of Enkidu is he was a wild man created by the god Anu, which is like the Anunnaki,
Okay.
fallen angels.
Yeah.
Who is described as strong, fast, and intelligent, but more animal than human.
Oh no.
He has shaggy hair, clothes himself with animal skins, and lives like a wild creature with no contact with other humans. And so he was basically sent to correct Gilgamesh and like fight him, but then they end up becoming buddies. This is the whole Epic of
Really?
Gilgamesh.
Like
They become-
Why are we fighting?
Yeah, they
We
become
love
friends.
each other. Look at you. You look like me.
And they go on these conquests to get back at the Watchers,
Wow.
or the Anunnaki. And Enkidu ends up dying, and then Gilgamesh, apparently the story goes that he went down into the underworld to save him, but ends up dying himself.
Oh, that's real, bro.
Yeah,
Bro
well, they're
friendship.
probably Nephilim.
Oh.
But a lot of people have speculated that the Epic of Gilgamesh is actually an epic written about King Nimrod.
No way.
Interesting.
Yeah, which people theorize that Nimrod himself was a descendant from the fallen angels, like a Nephilim himself. And
For those who don't know, it's just dawned on my head. Nephilim is believed to be a race that, what I can remember, the story goes that the fallen angels fell in love with the women of the world, like human women, and then with crossbreeding the fallen angels with the normal women on earth, and it created this race of the Nephilim. So when you hear giants in the Bible and everything, people usually associate that with the Nephilim race, and that's one of the reasons. It is believed that one of the reasons the flood of Noah came was because the human race was almost extinct due to this crossbreeding with the Nephilims, and the Nephilim race taking over, and that's why God flooded the world to cleanse the world from the Nephilim and to save humanity, pretty much. So yeah, some context for you guys.
so a lot of parallels with Nimrod and Gilgamesh. Same region, same story of this like mighty hunter, mighty man. But they describe in the Epic of Gilgamesh his burial site.
Mhm.
And it's this very elaborate burial site. And it like even hints at something of like he was buried in what's called a resurrection tomb, meaning that potentially one day he could come back.
Yeah.
And the story goes that he was buried under the Euphrates River.
That's drying up.
Well, here's the thing. In 2003, a archaeologist by the name of Jörg Fassbinder, he was in the Mesopotamia area and doing like the whole LiDAR thing. And what he said is, I have found the tomb of Gilgamesh.
Oh my gosh.
That's
And he says there's an article about it in the BBC in 2003. So he found it in April of 2003.
Yeah.
He goes and he's like, everything that the script talks about matches identically to what I found. And so, but it's underground, right? So they have to like dig it up.
Mm-hmm.
And so they start the process of digging it up. Guess what happened 1 month later?
Shut down.
Earthquake.
The U.S. invades Iraq,
Oh my gosh.
which it was in
way.
Iraq.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, man.
This is where it gets crazy.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So the U.S.
That's
invaded
true, that's
Iraq
crazy.
1 month later after the discovery, and all the archaeological sites were then stopped in Iraq, so stop digging,
Yeah.
and the U.S. military set up an encampment around the tomb site. They kicked out all the scientists. They wouldn't allow
What the
any
hell?
media who were there to cover the story anymore. So that was like ABC News,
Bro, the US
BBC,
is some
because they were
shady stuff,
stationed there
bro.
to like find the more discovery of like them digging it up. They said, "You're out of here." And Jorg said, basically like, we are not allowed to dig any further because of the war. We're afraid of looters, and just some things will have to remain buried.
And it's never gotten picked up again.
Well, here's the thing.
Or the United
they picked
States.
it up.
But the locals around this encampment, the U.S. encampment, reported that the U.S. military were digging at night, taking things out of the ground and putting them onto trucks and driving them off.
We're villains.
Bro, why?
We are Dr. Evil.
Is that not? I mean,
That's crazy.
It gets
Where'd you
even-
learn this?
If that's true,
a bunch
that's
of places.
insane.
Dude.
but this is also crazy. So a couple months into this war, after they had this encampment and locals were reporting them digging stuff up and taking it, they had the invasion of Baghdad, which is the capital of Iraq. And what the U.S. military did not help with was that there's this giant museum in Iraq that is all about the Sumerian culture. It's like one of the largest in the world of like because the Sumerians were like one of these first civilizations, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Very
had,
interesting to look
I
up.
mean,
If you're
just
curious about
hundreds of thousands of tablets.
Go look into the Babylons, the Sumerians. That stuff is a lot of fun. Man. There we go. This is one of the most fun stuff I've looked after. Like, all of this stuff, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. This stuff is super interesting. Man. Super interesting to look at.
Manuscripts, artifacts, and it was left unprotected, and it got bombed all around it, and then all these looters came in and stole a bunch of stuff. But
What's missing?
a lot of people were like, before the looters came, the U.S. military came, rushed in, and stole vaults
Oh my gosh.
from the bowels of the museum, put them onto trucks, and then drove off. And so then the CIA, the FBI, and a couple other divisions were called in to investigate whether or not this claim was true. And they saw like the looters did in fact loot the museum, but they went down into the bowels, which is a really hard place to get to apparently in the museum. And what they noticed were like thousands of boxes were empty. There were vaults missing, but what was left were like gold coins, silver coins, and artifacts that were actually incredibly valuable. So they're like, looters did not come down here and
Yeah.
steal this
Yeah,
stuff because they left all the valuable stuff. So what did they take?
What's missing?
They don't have an
and-
inventory of what's in their museum.
I don't know. That's just as far as I got in the thing. But what is the U.S. military
Yes.
doing with this? I mean, it seems very apparent just from this story that there's no other article after 2003 about the Tomb of Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
It's left.
Bro,
Don't-
the US, the States have a lot of stuff like this. Like I've seen, I was watching AJ Gentile on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he was talking about the Grand Canyon, and there was that guy, I don't remember his name, that he said he found a cave in the Grand Canyon that had hieroglyphs. It was like an ancient Egypt corner inside of this cave in the Grand Canyon. So he comes back to the town, he gathers a search party, and they are about to go, but the dude never shows. The original dude that found it, he never shows up. But since then, people have been trying to find the cave and everything. And every time, and this is covered on the Y Files by AJ Gentile, every time people get into this forbidden section of the Grand Canyon, what is assumed to be the cave, there's whole low-hanging planes flying. There's a black helicopter flying, and people are arrested for being there, which is crazy to think. Like, you can go all throughout the Grand Canyon, but you cannot go in this specific area. And the excuse is to protect people from themselves. I think it was something like that. So the US is a lot. I don't know if this stuff about Gilgamesh is true, but the US is a lot of dumb stuff. Man.
Touch
A
it,
lot
don't
of
talk
weird
about
stuff.
it.
Yeah, because they can't look at it, they can't touch it, they can't talk about it
And if you go on
because they took it.
this took me a long time to find, but if you go onto the Freedom of Information Act and you look at the logs of what people have asked for it stuff to be declassified, there's one lady that one of her requests, this happened 2018 and she was denied, but she was requesting documents pertaining to the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh, the location of his body, and the location of the buried Nephilim.
And it was denied.
And it was denied.
Well, that's the first edition of the term Nephilim.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Yeah.
Why would you
I mean,
deny
it would
that?
make total sense that,
Unless
like,
you're
whenever
hiding
we do
something.
invade on a certain place, there's multiple things on the list that we want to get accomplished. Oil. Nephilim's bones and stuff. I mean, like, obviously, like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, they're taking advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
But the fact that people are referring to it as a resurrection tomb,
Yeah.
and then I went even further and I went on the patent website,
Yeah.
and there's someone that made an invention called the resurrection tomb, but it's an inactive patent right now. But I can dive into it like on another episode, but it's really freaky.
That's
And
so.
it's like it's so just scary. But then there's people like coming out like, oh, this is a video of the the tomb of Gilgamesh and Nimrod. It looked pretty fake. But if it is real, it's actually really terrifying because he's like perfectly preserved.
Ew.
Yeah.
And like there's like
That's
gold
probably
monuments
fake.
all around
Yeah,
them.
that's fake.
But they to me, the monuments looked kind of like Egyptian, not Mesopotamian, Sumerian. But I thought that was insane.
That
Of like
is-
what, because we talked about it before, like, is there a sinister plan to, I talks about like Jesus will come back, like it'll be like the days of Noah. What do we know
True.
about the days of Noah? There were Nephilim. There were fallen angels just terrorizing earth,
Yeah.
you know? And so, like, is there going to be a reawakening of the Nephilim? And, like, what will that look like? Like, are they extracting DNA? Are they, like, trying to...
Will that become a part of the Antichrist movement? Like there's.
Yeah, because, I mean, you think of Nephilim, if their DNA, they have the DNA of a heavenly creature, a being,
True.
the Watchers. And, like, there has to be a way to where you could extract that, right? And that could be something, I would assume. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
this is exactly. I think Sauron is Gilgamesh, and I think that's Tolkien's commentary.
Yeah, because you talked about Uruk.
Yeah, Gilgamesh was from Uruk, and then in Lord of the Rings, it's the Uruk-hai, and they're literally taking.
They're half
Elves.
They're
half elves, which were heavenly beings, and then Gandalf would be the other heavenly being that was sent to be his equal. Only he doesn't buddy up. But
Interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tolkien
Gets
was a
crazier.
fascinating guy.
No way.
Goat.
Yes.
And there's more.
Goat.
Because there's more with Iraq.
Yeah.
Iraq that people have speculated of why we went to war with Iraq, because it was completely random. Because like
I remember being a kid and everyone was like, "Why are we here? Why are we here? Why like
the weapons
yeah,
of mass
people did not
destruction,
want
right?
to
That
be
was
there.
the saying.
They found none.
Iraq?"
Well, in the 1920s, Iraq, they were rumored to have found this ancient technology called the Stargate. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, I heard this.
So the Stargate,
The Enterprise?
it's basically a
Basically.
portal that you can enter into another realm and like be in contact with the realm beyond.
And they're saying this is in Iraq?
They're saying that this is in Iraq. This was in the 1920s that they're speculating this. And but like every government, we're hearing these rumors of Iraq finding or clues of finding the Stargate.
Yeah.
And then in 1941 was the Anglo-Iraq War, and that was between the British and Nazi Germany fighting in Iraq to take control over it. And if we know anything about Hitler, is that he was obsessed with searching with these ancient technologies, ancient artifacts, and like
Which is crazy.
yeah,
Wow,
this was
Donnie.
like after they're like, oh, we have the Stargate, and then never found whatever.
The closest
In the
thing to
1980s,
Antichrist, or
Saddam
the closest
Hussein
so far.
Saddam Hussein claimed that he had found the Stargate, and he had all of his researchers figuring out how to use it. And then you have like Desert Storm, and then leading to the Iraq War, the Iraq invasion.
Yeah.
And it's like, were we after that as well?
Uh-huh.
You know,
Probably.
like
Dude.
because maybe George Bush wasn't lying about weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, seriously.
If you had access to potentially
Something
a-
that would cause mass destruction.
something that you could access a different realm.
Yeah, we think nuclear when he says that.
Yeah.
So there you have it, guys. That was a clip from episode 104 from Ninjas Are Butterflies podcast. Man, shout out to them. I love their podcast. They're like you guys saw, followers of the Lord Jesus, and it's amazing to see. They're always preaching the word and the gospel. It's amazing. And thank you so much for watching the video, man. If you guys enjoyed as much as I did, once again, sorry for being a bit quieter today. You guys understand. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, all of that good stuff. All glory to Jesus Christ, and I see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.